The DC police are cooking the books. I mean, that much is pretty obvious when you see what I'm about to show you in the next couple of minutes here. But if you were watching the news today, there were two very different versions of Washington, D.C. On one hand, Trump was talking about bedlam, chaos, and absolute insanity on the streets of Washington, D.C. We must send the feds in. We have to send the National Guard in. We need to do it. It's the right thing for the taxpayer. On the other hand, even fact-checking Trump during his speech, some of the cable networks were saying, this is insanity. Actually, violent crime in D.C. is way down. Things have never been as safe, at least not since the pandemic, they argued. But what if none of the numbers are to be trusted to begin with? In fact, I show you this. The story from Washington, D.C.'s Channel 4, NBC, didn't get a lot of attention when it first dropped. But the headline is startling. D.C. police commander suspended, accused of changing crime statistics. Gasp. You're going to be shocked when I tell you that he didn't change those crime statistics upward. No, obviously, the D.C. police commander said he was being told, and others say this, that they were supposed to lower the violent crime statistics. Make it look better. Make it look like D.C. is improving year over year. And that's exactly what they say they did. And now, when they point us to the DC crime dashboard where it shows all of the violent crimes, well, it looks like they've done a pretty good job, doesn't it? But that's if you can trust the numbers. Who trusts the numbers anymore? I mean, anecdotally, people in DC will tell you crime is out of control. Everybody will say they know somebody that's been carjacked or been a victim of some crime by some teenager with no parents in sight and no fear of prosecution. And if we look at this particular commander, this police commander was in charge of the 3rd District. And year over year, in the last month, the statistics show in his district, with numbers that I'm definitely questioning right now, violent crimes were down almost 50%. They cut them in half. Or they didn't. And in the last year, they say that violent crime is down almost 30% in this same district. All the other districts showing these huge drops in violent crime. Unless this was one of those cases where the police investigated themselves and they found out they were just doing a fantastic job of everything. The bigger question here is, will any of this actually work? Will it work to send in the National Guard? Probably temporarily. It'll probably stop some of the gangbangers and violent teenagers who think there's no repercussions. It might fix things temporarily and put a Band-Aid on the situation. It'll probably do better, in my estimation, than some of the utopian projects that a lot of people in power in Washington, D.C. are hoping will work. But the biggest problem is going to be that these are kids. They're teenagers coming from households where, again, gasp, it's almost always the case that there's only one parent, if that. The one parent these kids often have is not engaged. The police aren't really threatening to take them to jail. The prosecutors don't want to prosecute. It doesn't matter. They can go out and play GTA in real life all the time with no repercussions. Honestly, sounds kind of fun if you're a teenager and you can get away with it. The reason you and I didn't do that was because there were repercussions. Fixing that loop is going to be much more difficult. But we also have to, at the same time, reinstill some confidence that the numbers that we're seeing from law enforcement are actually numbers that we can trust. What do you think?